I'm going to call this meeting to order and recognize that tonight's meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Stenemo people. Welcome to the annual general meeting of the board. I'd like to introduce staff and trustees that are at the board table. So starting from my far left, I'd actually like to introduce Pam Graham, who is our recording secretary. Trustee Brennan, Trustee Routley, Trustee Robinson, Trustee Bob, Trustee Ray, Superintendent Blaine, Trustee Higginson, Trustee Kimler, Trustee Solomon, and Trustee Brozovic. I'm now going to call for nominations for the position of chairperson of the Board of Education. Do I have any nominations for the chairperson?
Steve Ray.
Steve, do you have that nomination?
I do.
For a second time, do we have any nominations for the position of chairperson? And for a third time, do we have any nominations for the position of chairperson of the board? Okay, seeing none, and being that there are no further nominations for the position of chairperson of the board, nominations are now closed, and given that there was only one nomination, Trustee Ray is declared chairperson of the board by acclamation. And I will hand the meeting over to you.
Thank you. Please hold all your. All right.
Do you want to switch spots?
Sure. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We'll just sit over here.
He just wants to hold the gavel.
Before we, thanks, Sean. Before we go any farther, if everybody noticed the agenda, there was no spot for additions of the vice chair of the Education Committee and the Business Committee. Policy states that we do that usually at the first meeting of each of them. Does anybody have any objection to adding those to this meeting? Seeing none, we'll add those nominations to this meeting. Thank you. Is there a script? All right, there you go. Election of the vice chairperson. Chairperson will call for nominations for the position of vice chair from the board. Any nominations for vice chair? Trustee Solomon?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Stephanie Higginson.
Trustee Higginson, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Rob
Sorry, Rob. Any other nominations for vice chair? And for the third time, seeing any nominations for vice chair? Seeing none, Trustee Higginson got the position by acclamation. Congratulations. Thank you.
Does she accept?
Do you accept? That's
I
a
do.
good question.
wholeheartedly.
Any help needed, just call.
Thanks. Thank you. Now where are we? Oh, here we are. Chairperson, me, will call for the nominations for the position of the chairperson of the Business Committee. Anybody like to nominate somebody for the chair of the Business Committee? Trustee Higginson?
I will nominate Scott if he will accept.
Scott?
Trustee Kimler, sorry.
Sure, I'll stand.
Okay. Any other nominations? For the third time, any other nominations? Seeing none, Scott, you are the business chair. Well, Trustee Kimler, you are the business chair. Please hold your applause. And so at this point, we'll do the vice chair of the business committee, if that's okay with everybody. Anybody like to nominate Trustee Kimler?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Solomon.
Trustee Solomon, will you accept that nomination?
Just for verification, do I have to work with Scott? Yes, I do.
Yes, okay, thank you. Second time around, anybody nominate for the vice chair of the business committee? For the third and final time, anybody nominate for the vice chair of the business committee? Seeing none, Trustee Solomon, you are now the vice chair of the business committee. Thank you. Chair of the education committee. Would somebody like to nominate a person for the chair of the education committee? Trustee Bob?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Higginson.
Trustee Higginson, will you accept that nomination?
I will, thank you.
Anybody else for the chair of the education committee? For the third time, for the chair of the education committee? Seeing none, Trustee Higginson, you are the chair of the education committee. Thank you. Now for the election of the BCSTA provincial. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was your idea.
I know. I gotta share it. Thank you. For the vice chair of the education committee, nominations. Trustee Higginson.
I'd like to nominate trustee Bob. She's going to do it again.
Trustee Bob, will you accept that nomination? Anybody else for the vice chair of the education committee? Third time, anybody for the vice chair of the education committee? Seeing none, trustee Bob, you are acclimated to the position of vice chair of the education committee. Congratulations. Thank you. Less claps than I got. All right, the BC, election of the BCSDA provincial councillor. Would somebody like to be nominated for that position?
I'll nominate somebody.
Sure.
I'll nominate Natasha. She just started doing it. So I think we should keep going with that.
Trustee Bob, do you accept that nomination?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else? Any nominations for anybody else? For the third time, any nominations for anybody else? Seeing none, trustee Bob is the provincial councillor for the BCSDA. Thank you. And the alternate. We need a alternate, so we would like nominations for an alternate. Trustee Brennan?
I nominate trustee Berger.
Trustee Burzwick, will you accept that?
I will.
Okay. Anybody else? For the third time, anybody else? Seeing none, trustee Burzwick, you are acclimated to the alternate rep for the BCSDA provincial council. Thank you. Does anybody have any objection to an adjournment? Seeing none, we're adjourned till 6 p.m. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to go home, this excitement. It's overwhelming.